Hey everybody, and welcome back to Dude's Brunch. It's a podcast about pop culture, internet garbage, and black coffee, and I'm your host, Taylor Olmstead. With me this week to continue celebrating the winter holidays, it's Tyler Reed. Tyler, did you have a festive brunch today?
Do we determine what that is?
I mean, a brunch can be as festive as you like it. I'm more asking what you had.
I'd be like, did I have like a Christmas log? No. I don't I don't know what. I feel like that's a topic of itself, but I'll go ahead and tell you what I had for brunch anyway, Taylor. So since I'm working in the food block. I'm making food now. Moving up in the world. Oh boy. I get to make whatever the fuck I want. So I took a get a potato quiche, and I took some bacon, some cheddar cheese, and some spinach, and I smashed it between an everything bagel.
Okay. I can get behind that.
Yeah. We don't have any
really
eggs, like, to cook. We just have an already made quiche, so we just kind of use our quiches for that.
It still sounds like a delicious breakfast sandwich.
Yeah.
And of course, black coffee.
Oh, I didn't get to finish my Soylent, so I ended up just drinking that, and everyone made fun of me, which is,
As they
to be
should.
fair, appropriate.
You are exactly right. Sean Evans is here. Sean, what did you have for brunch today?
Sarah and I got up together and we made pancakes and bacon.
Oh, that's cute. Were they candy cane shaped pancakes or anything fun and festive like that?
Well, Sarah tried her hand at making pancakes, so that was fun. We got to learn. I should say, I don't really teach how to make pancakes. I'm usually the one that makes pancakes, but Sarah did an amazing job this morning at learning how to make pancakes.
What a wonderful bonding experience.
She wanted to add this whole grain pancake mix into some of it, and I was like, I don't want that pancake, but it's all right.
I feel like if there's one thing this podcast can all agree on, it's that whole grain pancakes are garbo.
Oh my god.
Catherine DiMartino is with us. Catherine, what did you have for brunch today?
Hi everyone, it's me again. I had like a 2-part brunch, I guess. I had Cocoa Pebbles for breakfast. And with black coffee, which was Dodger coffee today. Dodger, the streamer. So I had gotten some for Tyler for his birthday, and so I wanted to try it because it's supposed to be like a cheap cup of coffee. So I made that black coffee, and then I had an everything bagel with cream cheese.
After I messed up about 80 grams of a bag of beans of coffee making cold brew with it, I was like, well, Catherine, I know this is a gift for me, but maybe you should just have this because I trust you to actually make this not taste like garbage.
You suck.
Way to suck at the one thing you're supposedly good at, Tyler. Hashtag proud of you.
Well, all coffee is different, you know.
I haven't
it's
done
not
cold brew in a very long time.
Yeah. Well, Dodger also sells a cold brew, so that's sort of on me. But I thought we would try the whole beans first.
Oh, it was whole bean? Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is easy to mess up. I'll retract my hate.
Well, I had realized how bad of a job I did of knowing the process of how to even make coffee when I was cold brewing, because I had no notes and I didn't know how what the bloom was or how long I brew it for or how much grams of bean I use or anything, and I was like, how did I ever make coffee that even tasted okay?
You gotta use your notebook that's specifically for recording how you make all those. It's got
I didn't have that before. I'm sorry, and I did keep track of it.
Before that.
I mean, there's a part where you are like, this is too complicated for me at a amateur level to appreciate. At this point, I can now make it. I could probably figure out how to make it and make it actually taste good.
Anyway, I'm your host, Taylor, and for brunch this morning, I had a fried egg and some toast and some coffee. Just regular grocery store coffee, none of Tyler's fancy hipster nonsense.
What does grocery store coffee mean?
Folgers.
I'm not on the show, so I don't know anything.
I just buy Seattle's Best coffee. It comes in a little bag. It's ground. It's like $5 a bag. It's fine.
Ew, pre-ground?
Mm-hmm.
Yuck.
Well, I don't want to wake my roommate up in the morning by grinding coffee beans, so...
True. Understandable.
You know, sometimes you have to take a sacrifice for the team. Which is, of course, what brings us here this evening. Catherine sacrificed our hearing for you, our listeners.
Well, and more than that, though, you sacrificed your Spotify algorithms, which I'll talk about a little bit.
This is true. I feel like this Christmas is just all about Dude's Brunch, experiencing the worst of the holidays so you don't have to. So tell us about this Christmas abomination playlist you sent us, Catherine.
Well, it's pretty it's a short version of a larger playlist that I have that's called Abominable Christmas. And like I guess you could let me give you like the short history of what abominations are. So I have like a bunch of playlists that are like about abominations. And what abominations are, long story short, is songs that should not be. They're essentially covers that are like unexpected in some way, or they're dissonant genres, or you hate that you like them. But I mean, Tyler would probably tell you that they're just bad. Like, that's sort of the joke, that I like bad music. Like, I just like bad covers of things. But abominations are something that my siblings and I look for. My brother actually coined the term for it. Like, that's why we call them abominations. But they should not be, but they are. And so the playlist I put together for you all is like a miniature version of the Christmas abominations playlist that's sort of focused towards what I know you all would at least be like familiar with or know something about. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, what were your initial reactions to it? Let's just start there.
So when the first song started, I was like, okay, surely this can't be that bad. It's not going to live up to this title. And then the bass dropped, and my life changed.
That's good.
I saw all of my Christmases past flash before my eyes, and I thought to myself, is this how I want to remember the holidays? And the answer was no.
Okay. That's certainly a reaction to it.
I mean, Taylor, I feel like regardless of whether this particular song will color your holidays, I feel like, God, what the fuck is this genre again?
Dubstep?
I feel like dubstep will color an entire decade of our lives. So we'll look back and be like, do you remember when everything was wub? Do you remember we were really into the wub?
Like, to recap for the audience real quick, and I'm sure you'll post like the playlist link too, but so all that I included on this list was a dubstep cover of Carol of the Bells by Capital Kings, a steel drum cover of Sleigh Ride by Steel Drum Island, a Silent Night cover by the Dickies, which is from an abominable Christmas album called Christmas Rock. Then Reliant K's 12 Days of Christmas off of their Christmas album, which I can talk about for a while, actually. You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch by Queen's Club off of another abominable Christmas album. And then Jimmy Eat World did a cover of Last Christmas. That's like an extra track on something. So just to recap that. So most of this is not dubstep, which is important because a lot of abominations are. Tyler's laughing because I forced him to listen to a bunch of other ones yesterday. So
I honestly really don't mind tastefully done covers of Christmas songs. I'm not like a huge fan of Christmas songs in any way, shape, or form. So like if you can make them appealing to me, I like them that much more. I can think of like maybe 10 or 15 Christmas songs that I actually like in their original form, and they're mostly by like rock artists anyway. So hearing like a rock and roll version of a Christmas song automatically makes it that much more appealing to me.
That's interesting. Like, because I know you all just talked about Christmas music kind of, or like, I listened to part of one of your recent episodes, and that's what I was like, God, you all are like so disappointed in Christmas this year or something. Nobody wants to listen to Christmas music. What about you, Tyler? Or Taylor, you've something.
I mean, it was surprisingly fine. I think that the joke is always like you listen to like the first 5 seconds of it and you're like, I got the joke, and you're like, all right, that's it, and that already is something that I hate. So I'm like, all right, well, we gotta listen to this whole thing now. Like, this is your fault. If you put this song on, we have to finish it. And usually, I mean, I'm more tolerant of it than the other person is. So I don't know. It's fine.
I think that's a good point about a lot of abominations, is that, like, there are, I actually have one of my playlists of abominations is things that are too abominable, so like you don't want to keep listening to them. And that's a good quality for one of these kinds of things to have, is that you may not like that you like it, but it's not like offensive to listen to, so to speak. It's not like you're like slogging through it. And I think the Steel Drum album, like part of the Steel Drum album that I put on this playlist for you all, is like that, where it's kind of hard to get all the way through the song, but I think that just borders on being terrible. It's not like, I mean, maybe that just makes it like regular Christmas music to that effect. I mean, like, I don't hate all Christmas music or anything, but I am exceedingly picky about it at this point, where I'm like, oh yeah, Mel Torme's Christmas album, and Doc Severinsen's big band, and like Charlie Brown. You know, like, that's probably as far as I'll usually go, aside from Abomination.
Yeah, I think part of what makes Christmas music so easy to do this kind of stuff with is that the songs are so simple, and they're designed that way, right? Like, you have to write simple songs that children can sing. But then when you play versions of them over and over all season long in every department store and on every TV special, we get really sick of them, and we get tired of like hearing the same simple progressions. The problem that I see with a lot of these particular songs you shared with us, though, is that they're like trying too hard to push the limits of a Christmas song. So like the example I'm thinking of is the Relient K one, where it like changes tempo a bunch of times, and there's like a weird grindcore breakdown in the middle of it at one point, and they're like jumping around genres. I'm like, why? No one is asking for this.
I thought the Relient K one was actually one of the better ones on here.
Agreed.
Because it has more of that variety. Like I said, it's kind of a slog to get through Sleigh Ride, and I can see how Carol of the Bells is challenging for some people. And even this cover of Silent Night, where, like, if you're not into punk, like, structure, then you're going to be kind of like, oh, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't feel like 12 Days of Christmas was... I thought it was one of the better covers on here. Not least of all because 12 Days of Christmas never gets any covers because it's annoying.
This is true. It's already an annoying song to begin with.
Like, no one gets through, even in real life, singing 12 Days of Christmas.
What's even the point of that song?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Well, that was the point of the cover, is like, all of these gifts suck. Why is this song a thing? Like, it got a little too meta towards the end there.
Taylor says, no way. I don't want any meta conversation about my Christmas songs.
Well, okay, so that's an interesting point then, because one of my praises for this Relient K album is that with few exceptions, it's not like a parody of Christmas, and like Silent Night by the Dickies feels like it's purposefully being challenging. You know what I mean? Like, You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch doesn't feel like that necessarily. But this 12 Days of Christmas and the Relient K album, that, like, I don't know, I felt like it was an honest kind of version of a lot of the songs that they put on it, which was refreshing, because some Christmas music or Christmas covers they feel disingenuous because they're like tired of Christmas already. And it's like, well, why did you make a Christmas album?
Yeah, looking at you, Bob Dylan.
I mean, to be fair...
Hey. That man is a Nobel Prize winner, so you shut your mouth.
Have you listened to Bob Dylan's Christmas album?
Have you listened to Bob Dylan's Christmas album? No, I haven't.
Yes, it's god-awful.
I haven't, so now I'm excited. So, like, searching for these abominations was kind of interesting, because for my full Abominable Christmas playlist, there's a lot of different stuff on it. Like, it covers a lot of different genres, but the reason I ended up with so many, like, pop punk and alternative Christmas songs, it stemmed from coming across a version of Carol of the Bells by Sixpence None the Richer, which was fine. I mean, the album wasn't very exciting to me, but I was like, I never thought about this before, because boy bands always do some kind of Christmas album, right? And that's not hard to find. But a lot of these Christmas songs are on like these weird compilation albums when like pop punk groups do them, or any kind of like early 2000s one hit wonder, like they're all on these weird compilations that only through searching through a place like Spotify would you even notice that they were part of their discography, really. But like, there was like that whole Nightmare Before Christmas cover album. Like there were 2 of those, which were really popular in the early to mid 2000s because it was like the perfect cross-section demographic. So, like, I think it was really interesting to find so many of these because of that.
Yeah, after I listened to your playlist, I did some Googling and found a BuzzFeed article and was suddenly transported back in time when I found the My Chemical Romance cover of Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Oh, it's so bad.
It's a nightmare.
Which is specifically, I was like, Catherine, why isn't this song on there? And she's like, but it's too bad. I'm like, I don't like My Chemical Romance. I'm like, so that's the point. Right?
But that's not an abomination.
And you insist that's not true. I feel like you're holding this
bad.
too dear to your heart, and you're like letting it really be like people are gonna let people run with this idea, they're gonna run towards that, right? They're not gonna try to have like any sort of care or like concern for like has some good intent but isn't really that good, and they're just gonna be like, fucking get the garbagiest piece of shit music ever.
Right. Well, the subtlety is in the name, I think, because abomination means it's in some way awful, but it also, like, I think of like a classic like a Warcraft abomination, really, where it's like an amalgamation of creatures or things. And something that I like about abominations is that they're like dissonant genres. So like taking lyrics or some kind of mood and like putting it in a different envelope is really interesting, or a different format.
So My Chemical Romance.
But that doesn't. They didn't make it work. I mean, like there's so many other examples of bands that did manage to like take a Christmas song that has nothing to do with what most of their work is about, and turn that into something that feels like it fits, even if it's not great. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you all can feel differently.
So it seems like, I don't know, it doesn't seem like bands do this kind of thing that you were talking about as often anymore. The like obligatory Christmas cover song. And I wonder why that is. Like why we've stopped doing that.
Probably because it's tacky. I mean, abominations are tacky if they're nothing else. It's not, there's no like pretending about that.
I don't know. I'm kind of ready for it though. I think we can bring back the tacky Christmas cover. I think that could be fun.
I mean, I like the idea. I mean, of course I'm going to be about it because, well, a lot of regular abominations, like I said, they come out of like heavy metal covers of things or EDM covers or like dubstep, and sometimes that gets really exhausting. So it was kind of refreshing to have something that felt a little more cohesive than that.
Which let's go into the dubstep for a second.
Okay.
Because I feel like it's not a dubstep song if you don't have a really weird, like, pitch-shifted sample before the bass drop.
I forgot about that.
And this Carol of the Bells cover, where it has a little girl saying Merry Christmas right when the bass drops, like, almost worked on me. It almost got me, and then the bass dropped, and I was like, nope, 100% nope, I am not down with the wub-wubs.
My specialty is not finding specifically dubstep covers because I feel like, well, are they really, they're not doing enough different from each other a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like some types of EDM or like techno specifically, like early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s techno type stuff, that feels like divergent enough to be interesting for a long time. Harajuku did a ton of Phantom of the Opera covers and Beauty and the Beast, and apparently Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Like, I'm excited to listen to that later. And those are all these like kind of poppy beat covers of these songs, which is different from dubstep, where dubstep is kind of just like taking a song and like ripping it in half over and over.
I'm sitting here listening to this My Chemical Romance version, and I don't know what you're talking about. This is exactly what they sound like all the time.
Well, but then maybe My Chemical Romance isn't even good enough to be an abomination.
Oh my
Hot
god.
take.
I feel like that's such a strong bias. I can't even, like...
Well, listen, we don't all have to like the same thing. What's an abomination to me might be something that might be totally different for somebody else. Like, all three of us, DiMartino children, we seek out different things in our, like, messed up covers that we like. Like, Erica's really good. Erica's my sister. She's really good at finding, like... She found this kazoo version of, let's see, what was it? Oh Come All Ye Faithful. There's a whole kazoo Christmas album. She found this incredible marching band cover of Single Ladies also, which is not a Christmas song, obviously, but she also found that. Meanwhile, my brother focuses more on abominations that are covers of classical music, usually. And mine are more focused on, like, pop hits. So, like, that can be a part of your personal preference, too. You don't have to be interested in all of it.
So then with that, I feel like the abundance of bad Bandcamp trap covers of things, like, is that kind of the vibe that you're talking about, Catherine? Like, this just should not be?
Yeah. If it's a good, bad cover, I will give it a listen, you know?
Okay, so, like, I'm trying to come up with something that would fit into this playlist, and I found this Jingle Bells Trap remix, for example. And it's pretty short, but it's a remix of, I think it's a Frank Sinatra version of Jingle Bells.
I can't wait.
Piano in the bell. Jingle bell.
Oh, I've heard this.
Why is this a song? Why did they make this?
There's lots of trap remixes of things too, and those can be abominations.
They can be very, like, paint by numbers stereotypical, like this one is.
Yes.
But that's kind of what I love about them.
Yeah, I'm about that. That's exactly right. That's a good formal observation of them, right? That, like, they're not really reinventing the wheel on either side of what they're doing. It's not like they're writing up. There are actually quite a few original Christmas songs by some of these bands, which I thought was interesting. But, like, most of the things on the list that I gave you all, they're not, like, they could be textbook examples of whatever genre that group is known for a lot of times. Especially, like, punk. I mean, that's not hard to follow the formula for.
Right.
But I think it's hard to incorporate other elements without messing that formula up a lot of times.
So what is your favorite then? Like, if you had to pick one, not even necessarily on this list, but, like, if you were going to give our listeners, like, your absolute favorite Christmas or holiday abomination, what would it be?
My favorite this season, because I do have a favorite, like, for this year, is Thousand Foot Crutch's cover of Heat Miser, which was on Happy Christmas Volume 5, and that's on my Abominable Christmas playlist, which is, I made it public, but you can also just look it up on Spotify. But Heat Miser is a song from Year Without a Santa Claus. If you have not seen Year Without a Santa Claus, Heat Miser is one of the, it's a whole number, and then there's Snow Miser also. But the Snow Miser cover I wasn't as into, so Heat Miser it is for this season.
What about Sean and Tyler? Do you guys have favorites of, like, bad Christmas covers, abominations, just horrible pieces of holiday garbage?
Not really. I mean, if it, honestly, it's going to sound like really obvious. If it's bad, I'm just not going to listen to it. Like, I don't just play just to, like, annoy people or something like that, which is really kind of out of character for me, I think.
Right. I mean, I also get no catharsis out of just listening to just shitty bad songs.
Oh, God.
Does Smash Mouth have a Christmas album?
Oh,
Let's
almost
find
certainly.
out.
I mean,
I feel like there is, because I...
Oh my God, they do. This is incredible. Oh, of course they put Father Christmas on there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so disappointed that oh, Snoopy, I cannot wait. I'm so ready to, like, listen to this whole album.
If anything, this is the best Christmas album.
Oh my God. I'm immediately adding Zat You Santa Claus on Smash Mouth's The Gift of Rock to the Abominable Christmas playlist.
That makes me want to die.
It's so bad.
So we'll put the links to your playlist in the show notes, as well as some of the other songs we talked about. And listeners, if you find some good ones, feel free to tweet them in at us. We'll definitely be on the lookout for the rest of the holiday season.
It is to ride in a one-horse.
So this week in Internet Garbage, we have a very special Internet Garbage Off. It's been a while since we've done one of these. And basically the way this works is we have two pieces of Internet Garbage, and we, as the panel, are going to decide which is the best, worst piece of Internet Garbage. This week, we have two music videos for two songs with the same title.
Yes.
Let's go.
Both of these songs are called LaCroix Boi.
Oh boy.
And they are songs about the carbonated water LaCroix. So we will begin with Jarrett Sleeper's version of LaCroix Boi now.
I'm a LaCroix boy. No, I'm a LaCroix boy. I'm a LaCroix boy. Oui. 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 Beaucoup.
I mean, like, I mean, nothing. Just go.
Beaucoup.
Just keep going.
Beaucoup.
So Jarrett Sleeper's LaCroix Boi starts out with him being asked if he's a LaCroix boy, and he says no, he's a LaCroix Boi. And it just escalates from there and gets out of control, and there's some bad green screen, and he's got cans of LaCroix masking tape to his head, and there's a morph suit involved, and it's very surreal. And at one point he's dancing around in front of old wrestling footage and clips of the X-Men cartoon.
Oh, because of the... Yeah, okay. That part makes more sense now.
I mean, it's so, like, surface level, like absurdist. It's like, you gotta try a little bit harder in 2017. Like, we fucking watched a video from, like, the goddamn, like, 80s. What was it? Of Andy Warhol eating a hamburger, and I was more shook about that than this fucking trash can.
Sean, you were making some faces during this. Were you pretty shook?
Not really. Actually, as it went better, I actually kind of liked it a little more. At first, I thought it was really awkward, but then I was kind of like, yeah.
Are you about that bub life?
No, not really. I don't actually like LaCroix that much. I feel like it's seltzer water more so than I don't really like seltzer that much.
I think the thing that really gets me about this video are his ridiculous facial expressions. Like, he delivers these lines so seriously, even though they're so obviously ridiculous. Particularly at the beginning when he says, I'm a LaCroix boy, and then, like, flips his head to the camera and says no really aggressively. The first time he did that, I was like, what is going on? And by the third time, I was, like, legitimately laughing. And then when he said LaCroix Boi, I, like, died. Because I think, like, the whole meme of, like, how do you say LaCroix or LaCroix is, like, funny in some way. And he, like, leans into it really hard in this in a way that I really appreciated.
I feel like I'm being proportionally, like, critical of this piece of media because I literally just got done watching a video last night of a guy sitting down and eating 4 individual banquet TV dinners and, like, some of the best, like, shitty editing I've ever seen in my life. And so I'm like, great. So this guy is just saying the same thing over and over again over some bad green screen. Great. Show me what's...
How old is Shoes? That's like over 10 years old, right?
Oh, yeah, easily.
I think this has that, like... I think maybe for me and Tyler, what we're feeling is that it's slightly dated that way.
Yeah, it feels like it would have done better 10 years ago in the early days of YouTube.
Hell yeah. Of course, then you deal with, like, the anachronism of LaCroix being popular.
You should really show them the second video, because I think it just auto-played for me, and actually this one is just blowing me away. Like, this is absolutely the opposite of internet garbage. This is actually, like, hilarious.
Yeah, so next up we're going to watch Big Dipper's LaCroix Boi.
Okay. Yeah, it's the same one. This is actually really well done.
I'm parched.
Oh, Jesus.
Open the fridge. You grab a can or two. Come snuggle, babe. And bring that water juice. So thirsty. I'll be your
I think you do need to see the first one to kind of get this one a little bit more. Like, now that you see the context of one another, you're like, okay.
Drown in these pebble moves, lips. I'll be your LaCroix boy. Tiny bubbles tickle tongues, mixing flavors just for fun. Melange in your mouth.
It's actually pretty good. I actually kind of like this one.
Don't ever stop. Mango, cran raspberry, best you ever had. Lemon, lime, pure. Passion fruit, orange, coconut. And that pamplemousse. And that pamplemousse. And that pamplemousse.
So Big Dipper's LaCroix Boi is a whole different animal. I mean, this is a cast of dancers. It's props. It's probably over 100 cans of LaCroix. There's a car made of LaCroix. There's clothing made of LaCroix. He sits atop a LaCroix throne.
And you only spend $5 on all those cans. Wow, what a product.
I mean, the LaCroix can jacket really speaks to me because there's like a group of artists that makes clothes like that. I think the one that's in Cincinnati they're called like the For Realism Tribe or something. I'm pretty sure that's right. I think that's an interesting idea to take something. I know that this is like sort of a response to something else, but to take it one step further and it really does become art is really nice.
Sean, you said before we started watching it that this one felt like a new level to you. Do you want to expand on that?
Oh, yeah, this one's the real deal, man. This one is, like, very well produced, and, like I said, I might not be a fan of LaCroix, but I LaCroix this song.
I love that it's high budget comparatively, but it still manages to be cringy as hell.
A little bit.
Like, I love the shot. It's like the first breakdown when he's on screen on the right looking horizontally across the screen, and then another head of his comes up on the left and just like spits LaCroix out of the mouth and starts singing.
I don't like that part, but that's because I don't like spit takes of any kind, pretty much.
Like, that shot just makes me laugh every single time I watch this, and I've watched it like 3 times today.
I like the part with all the different flavors.
Which part?
All of them. All of the...
In some
It's
way.
really colorful. Like, okay, you have to remember, I'm approaching this a little bit more formally because I can't help it. But, like, all the different colored backgrounds, like, I feel like he tapped into the LaCroix aesthetic a little bit better. I mean, obviously, because they're... What's the other one? What's this guy's name? Jarrett Sleeper. The Jarrett Sleeper version is, like, I don't know, this kind of, like, I'm from the internet in the future, and this is what they enjoy there. But this is, like, here's how we actually make entertainment on Big Dipper's version.
And it's also got that 90s R&B beat behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Which definitely fits in better. Tyler, what are your opinions on Big Dipper versus Jarrett Sleeper?
I mean, it's just night and day. You know, like, there's just no contest whatsoever. Like, I mean, of course, the Big Dippers probably took much longer to do, and it was much more complicated and required literally 10 times the money and time. But I mean, isn't it worth doing right, you know? And I feel like...
Right. I get what you're saying. It's that LaCroix deserves better than Jarrett Sleeper.
Yeah.
Does it? I don't know about that. Maybe the phenomenon of LaCroix.
Catherine, we get it. You're not about that bub life, but for those of us that are...
No, I'm just saying, maybe the phenomenon of it. Like, yeah, I can get behind that.
I mean, okay, how far... Which one was first?
So it looks like Big Dippers came out on May 31st of this year. Jarrett Sleeper's version came out in February of this year. And I don't know that the two are at all related.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not sure they have anything in common with one another.
I mean, they could have just...
They just happen to have both come out this year.
I mean, convergence is real. It's a very distinct possibility. Especially with the way the internet is.
I'm just so happy that these people are so happy and they just love LaCroix. They love LaCroix arguably more than anything else in the world, it seems. And I'm really happy that they've found their bliss.
I mean, they are kind of like genuinely excited about LaCroix, I think. Maybe the first one, why do I keep forgetting his name? The Jarrett Sleeper version feels a little more ironic, you know, like a little more making fun of that a little bit. And Big Dipper's version feels more like an authentic love of LaCroix, to me, anyway.
Any last thoughts on LaCroix?
I think I might go buy some LaCroix right now.
I wish it was sweeter. I think we just open the floor. I mean, I'm just going to go out there and say what I was thinking. Wish there was a little more sugar in that bubble water.
You're watching them pour LaCroix all over each other, and you're like, boy, I wish that had like 10% more sugar.
Listen, I don't like how it doesn't taste that good.
I'm a little put off by the like wateriness of it, which sounds dumb, okay? I know that. I don't want it to be soda though. Like I don't know. It's not enough in between soda and like just water to me. I want it to have a little bit more going on. But it's fine. It's whatever.
I'm slowly learning my problem is that like I'm like, well, I want a good taste in my mouth, but I don't want a lot of sugar and a lot of bullshit. So I've been like, coffee, right? But at like 11 p.m. or 11 a.m., I'm like, p.m., sorry, words are hard. I'm like, well, I can't just have a coffee.
Sounds like it's time to drink a LaCroix.
Time to drink some of that Bub Life, you know?
Get that pamplemousse.
And that pamplemousse.
All right, everybody, it's time to round the podcast out like we always do with the round of Shameless Plugs. And we're going to start with Tyler Reed. Tyler, where can the people find you and your work?
Hey, everybody. You can find my design and illustration work at tylerdreed.com. And you can find me on the socials as TDR Design on Instagram and Twitter. I've done literally no art in like after October. In Inktober, I completely failed and I felt deflated. So help me get back on track.
Sean Evans, where can the people find you and your work?
You can find me on Twitter at sevans8910.
And Catherine DiMartino, thanks for being with us. Where can the people find you?
Yeah, of course. They can find me at my website, which is just catherinedmartino.com. I'm on all the socials. Most of them are at Excellent, which is like excellent with an I. And I have a coffee now too, which is the same username. And my Twitter is a little bit different. It's Ixelcoatl. So it's a little bit different. But other than that, they're all excellent.
There will be links in the show notes as well. You can follow me on the socials. I am at TC Olmstead. Of course, you can like and follow the show. We are at Dudes Brunch. And if you really like what we do here, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or hit the star button to recommend us on Overcast. And we will see you all next week for another episode of Dudes Brunch.
I'm all about that bub life. Give me them bubs. Don't ask me questions like that.